We'll do anything.
His man betrayed me. They come within my sight of my...
Just around the corner at the inn. And my children.
Everything is about to break. And this time, there is no way back. One man's capture is no longer just a problem. It is the spark that could destroy everything Outlander has been building toward. Because saving Lord John Grey is no longer a choice, it is a risk that could cost lives, loyalty, and the future itself. Episode 10 does not begin with calm. It begins with pressure. The kind that builds quietly, then suddenly feels impossible to escape. And at the center of that pressure stands Jamie Fraser, a man who has faced war before, but never like this. Because this time, the battlefield is not just in front of him, it is inside him. The war at King's Mountain is moving forward whether he is ready or not. Armies are preparing, strategies are forming, and every second brings them closer to a moment that will decide everything. But Jamie cannot focus on that. Not fully. Not anymore. Because somewhere beyond the lines of battle, Lord John Grey is being held, and time is running out. This is not just another capture. This is not just another enemy move. This is something deeper. More calculated. More dangerous. Because the people holding Lord John Grey understand exactly what he means. They know he is not just a soldier. Not just an ally. He is a connection, a bond that ties together trust, history, and sacrifice. And that is exactly why he was taken. Jamie understands this almost immediately. This is not random. This is not chaos. This is a message. A trap designed to force him into a position where every choice leads to loss. If he moves toward the battlefield, he risks losing Lord John forever. If he turns away from the war, everything he has fought for could collapse. There is no right decision anymore. And that is what makes this moment so dangerous. At the same time, William Ransom is being pulled into the same storm. But for him, this is not about strategy. This is not about war. This is personal in a way that cannot be controlled. Lord John Grey is not just someone he knows. He is the man who raised him. The man who shaped his life. And now he is gone. That kind of loss does not create patience. It creates urgency. Emotion. Recklessness. William is no longer thinking like a soldier who follows orders. He is thinking like someone who is about to lose everything that ever made him feel secure. And that makes him unpredictable. Jamie sees this. He understands it. And that makes the situation even more complicated. Because now he is not just dealing with an enemy outside. He is dealing with emotions that could break everything from within. The tension between duty and loyalty begins to tighten. Every conversation becomes heavier. Every decision feels slower, even though time is running out faster than ever. Jamie tries to think clearly to stay focused, but it is becoming impossible. Because Lord John Grey is not just someone he needs to save. He is someone he owes. Someone who protected William. Someone who stood between chaos and collapse more times than anyone realizes. And now that same man is alone, captured by enemies who are not just waiting, but watching. There is a growing feeling that this situation is bigger than it looks. That Lord John Grey's capture is only one piece of a larger plan. Small details begin to feel connected. Movements that once seemed separate now feel coordinated. Like everything is slowly closing in on one point. On Jamie. And the most unsettling part is, he knows it. He knows that whatever he does next will not just decide the fate of one man. It will decide the direction of everything that follows. The war. His relationship with William. The fragile trust that holds everything together. All of it is now standing on the edge. And the longer he waits, the closer everything moves toward collapse. Because this is no longer about choosing the best option. This is about choosing which loss he is willing to live with. The moment Jamie Fraser commits to action, everything changes. There is no more space for hesitation. No more time to think about what could go wrong. Because now every step forward pulls him deeper into something he already knows is dangerous. This is no longer a plan. It is a gamble. The decision to move towards saving Lord John Grey creates a shift that everyone can feel. The air becomes heavier. Conversations become shorter. Even silence begins to carry meaning. Because deep down, they all understand the truth. Not everyone will walk away from this the same. And maybe, not everyone will walk away at all. Jamie Fraser is trying to stay in control, but control is slipping. He knows the enemy is expecting him. That is what makes this so dangerous. This is not a rescue where surprise is on his side. This is a situation where every move he makes has already been imagined by the people waiting for him. That realization changes everything. It forces him to slow down, but at the same time, time itself is becoming his greatest enemy. Every moment he waits increases the risk to Lord John Grey. But every step he takes without thinking could make the trap even tighter. This is the kind of pressure that breaks even the strongest leaders. At the same time, William Ransom is no longer standing in the background. His involvement becomes impossible to ignore. His emotions are no longer contained. They begin to shape his actions, his decisions, and the way he responds to everything around him. He is not asking for permission anymore. He is moving forward because he has to. For William, this is not about strategy or consequences. This is about saving the man who gave him a life, a name, and a sense of belonging. And that kind of motivation is powerful, but also dangerous, because it removes fear. And when fear disappears, so does caution. Jamie sees this shift, and it creates a new kind of tension between them. Not the tension of conflict, but the tension of understanding. A silent agreement that does not need words. They both know what is at stake. They both know what could happen if they fail. But they also know that doing nothing is not an option. And that shared truth pulls them together in a way that feels fragile, but necessary. As the rescue begins to take shape, something else becomes clear. This is not just about saving one man. This is about stepping directly into a situation designed to break them. The enemy is not just holding Lord John Grey. They are using him. As leverage. As bait. As a way to force decisions that cannot be undone. Every path forward leads into uncertainty. Every plan feels incomplete. And yet they move forward anyway. Because sometimes, moving into danger is the only way to stop something worse from happening. The deeper they go, the more the situation begins to reveal itself. Small details start to connect. Patterns begin to appear. This was never a simple capture. It was built carefully, step by step, designed to pull Jamie into a position where he would have to choose between his duty and his heart. And now that moment has arrived. The weight of that realization is heavy. It sits in every pause, every glance, every decision that feels just slightly too slow or slightly too rushed. And in the middle of all this, the war at King's Mountain does not stop. It continues to move forward, pulling everything closer to a breaking point. Soldiers prepare. Lines are drawn. And with every passing moment, Jamie is being stretched between two worlds that are about to collide. On one side, a man he must save. On the other, a war he cannot ignore. And there is no path where he can fully protect both. That is what makes this moment so dangerous. Because no matter what happens next, something will be lost. As the tension builds, the story begins to feel different. Heavier. More focused. Like everything is narrowing down to a single moment where all the choices, all the risks, and all the emotions will finally come together. And when that moment arrives, there will be no turning back. The moment the rescue truly begins, everything stops feeling like a strategy and starts feeling like survival. There is no perfect timing, no perfect move, only risk. Jamie Fraser steps forward knowing one thing clearly now. This mission will cost something. Maybe men. Maybe trust. Maybe something even deeper that cannot be repaired. But turning back is no longer possible. Not when Lord John Grey is running out of time. Every second now feels sharp, heavy, final, because the enemy is ready. Nothing about this moment is unexpected to them. They have prepared for this, waited for this. And that is what makes every move Jamie makes feel like he is walking directly into danger he cannot fully see. There is no clear path forward, only instinct and the weight of everything he stands to lose. At the same time, William Ransom is no longer holding back. His emotions have reached a point where fear and logic no longer slow him down. This is the man who raised him, the man who stood beside him when no one else could. And now he is slipping away. That thought alone is enough to push William beyond caution. He is not thinking about the war waiting ahead. He is not thinking about consequences. He is thinking about one thing only, getting Lord John Grey back alive. And that makes him both powerful and vulnerable. Jamie sees it clearly. And for the first time, his fear is not just about the mission. It is about William. Because he understands something William does not fully see yet. Even if they succeed, nothing will go back to the way it was. Because this mission is already changing them. The rescue itself unfolds under pressure that feels almost suffocating. Every movement carries tension. Every choice feels like it could trigger something irreversible. There is no space for mistakes, and yet mistakes feel almost inevitable in a moment like this. Because this is not just a physical battle. This is a collision of loyalty, love, and responsibility. And no one walks through that unchanged. What makes this moment even more intense is the growing realization that the enemy never intended this to be simple. Lord John Grey is not just a prisoner waiting to be saved. He is the center of a situation designed to break Jamie at his core, to force him into a position where saving one life could risk many others. And that is exactly where Jamie stands now, on the edge of a decision that cannot be undone. The rescue pushes forward, but with every step, the cost becomes clearer. This is not about winning. It is about surviving the consequences of whatever happens next. Because even if Lord John Grey is freed, the damage has already begun. Trust has been tested. Emotions have been pushed too far. And the war is still waiting. That is the part no one can escape. Because the moment this rescue ends, another battle begins. And Jamie knows it. He knows that saving Lord John Grey will not bring peace. It will not solve everything. It will only lead him directly into the next storm, one where he must stand not as a man trying to protect someone, but as a leader sending men into danger. That shift is brutal, from saving a life to risking many, and there is no time to prepare for it. For William, the truth begins to settle in slowly but heavily. This is not just about saving someone he loves. This is about understanding what that love costs. Because in a world like this, every connection becomes a weakness the enemy can use. And now he has seen it happen. Up close. The emotional weight of that realization changes him. It forces him to grow, but in a way that comes with pain. Because this moment will stay with him, no matter what happens next. And that is what makes this episode feel like a turning point. Not because of one single event, but because of what it takes from the people involved. Because when everything finally settles, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. This was never just a rescue. It was a test of loyalty, of love, of how far someone is willing to go when every choice leads to loss. And as the dust begins to fall, the story does not feel finished. It feels like something has just begun, something darker, more dangerous, something that will carry forward into everything that comes next in Outlander.